each other, both intent on taking this information out of the public domain.
Okay, now, I mean, one of the reasons that you are so convinced something happened is because of the lack of cooperation you've received from different bodies when you ask for information. So the British Geographical Society about the earth tremor won't give you anything, will they? They'll give you nothing.
Well,
they hit you with a whole pile of charges and they want this, that and the other, but we're playing awkward. And the police are just stonewalling you.
Well, I've actually got an appeal in to the Information Commissioner as we speak against North Wales Police at the moment. They've fought now for 18 months telling me that they haven't got the information that I've requested, even though I provided them with peripheral information showing them that I know they've got the documents that I want. They just say, no, we haven't got the information. End of story. And because they're a big organisation, they'll just let people like me exhaust every channel. And as a consequence, I've got to go through an appeals process to the Information Commissioner, who hopefully will tell them to hand over the information which they say they haven't got, and which, because I've done this process before, they nearly always have the information.
Yeah.
And I will get it. But I went through the same problem with the British Geological Survey. They had a team of 4 men on the mountain range just after the air tremor. There was also astronomers there looking for a possible meteor impact site and things like that, again because of this explosion sound. And that 4-man team, they took a lot of notes, and they stayed in local hotels, and they distributed a bog standard questionnaire to residents all over the place. But what I actually uncovered was these questionnaires and some maps I've got were coded, so each person was given a code. And then I got access to some maps, which again they said they didn't have. And I found these codes marked at various points on the maps. And then I cross-referenced the documents that I did have. And I found out, for instance, like this nurse, she was given, I think it's C78, I think it was, off the top of my head. And that was actually her name and her house in the village she lived in. C100 was the spot on the map where she was on the road looking at the object. But even the documents I got, these C's, if you like, these C's and a number, they were just, I forget now, they were starting off in about the 40s and going into 100.
So some of those are missing.
So I'm thinking, where's the others, you know?
Yeah, and then also the MOD released information, and Nick Pope, who I touched on at the beginning of this chat, had said on a previous occasion, I'm talking about the papers that the MOD had on this incident. Yeah, when it was time for those papers to be released, nothing.
Yeah. Well, I know for a fact that there's a new word out lately. Everyone seems to know because of the expensive scandal in Parliament, redaction they call it, where they black everything out on the documents. When you get documents, the law says you're entitled to the documents. It doesn't really say you're entitled to the information. Okay. So there are documents in circulation that are almost entirely black. But it
tells its own story as well, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, but
okay.
In the case of like what Nick Pope described, and bear in mind he worked for them.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have had access to very, very sensitive information anyway. He wouldn't have had that sort of security clearance. But however, he quite rightly says that he looks at documents and he thinks that a lot of the stuff was missing. And under these sort of 30-year rules and whatever, and freedom of information requests, you would expect this information to be readily available to the public. But in the case of the Berwyn incidents, and there was the Rendlesham Forest incident, which is probably Nick Pope probably mentioned is the number 1 case.
Yeah, that's right, it was.
and several others. I know, for instance, of people who've written in before the Freedom of Information Act came out, and their letters of inquiry were classified.
Okay.
And in some cases, they did get responses. Now, when the files were supposed to be being released into the National Archives at Kew, you go there, and all these letters that people ever sent in should also be there.
Well, they've disappeared as well.
But they're not. And then you get an instance where a person who's made a previous inquiry has got a written acknowledgement from the Ministry of Defence, goes back to them and says, hang on, where's my letter? We don't know what you're on about. But you've replied to me. We still don't know what you're on about. That's the answer you get.
Okay. Well, listen, Scott, it's a fascinating story. You have spent a long time doing it. If any of the listeners tonight want to have a look at your website, can you just give out your website?
Yeah, it's Conwy UFO Group. That's CONWY, it's the Welsh spelling. Conwy UFO Group .pixo, PICZO.com. Conwy UFO Group .pixo.com.
But I can also tell you, if you do just go into Google and
you can just do Conwy UFO Group, it'll come up.
Yeah, exactly. And it's probably this is brought to my attention by a listener. Scott knows how long I tried to get in touch with him on this. So in that time, I've done quite a bit of research, and I can tell you Scott's website is probably the best one for information on this incident out there.
Yeah, the story's still unraveling all the time.
Yeah, and you're updating the website all the time. There's more news coming through. Right, okay, listen, Scott, time's got the better of us. We're going to have to go and head into the news. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And if you've got my email address,
yes.
If you have any updating breaking news, please drop me a line, okay? And we can get you on and have another chat.
Yeah, well, I'm always happy to publicise the event. It keeps the pressure on those who cover up things. Exactly.
Okay, well, listen, Scott, thanks for joining us tonight. You take care and have a good week.
I will do. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye now.